Hello, Rockers and Mercuryans. We're going to discuss a few basic real estate appraisal concepts, you guys. I figure that it's important to kind of talk to you guys about that because some of y'all are going through the real estate process, whether you're buying or selling, and you're maybe curious or nervous about the appraisal process and just want to know how it goes or just some of the concepts when it comes to that getting that number. So we discussed this a few videos, but I figure we go deeper into it on this one. So as always, please check out my website, slayrealestate.world. That's SLAY realestate.world. And I'd love for my team to support you in your journey, whether you're investing, buying, selling, whatever it may be. Visit slayrealestate.world, and we'd love to support you. I am a realtor, and I would love to, get another real estate partner to support you wherever you are, nationwide or even internationally. We have a lot of partners internationally as well, so don't hesitate to reach out to us. Slayrealestate.world. All right, so let's get into this. So I have some notes right here. You're going to see me looking off a few times, or a lot of times. Looking at my notes to kind of discuss a few things with you guys. So, as we're discussing the key points of basic real estate appraisal concepts, I want to start off with saying that an appraisal is an estimate of value that is for a specific purpose, party party and property as of a specific date. As of a specific date. So it's not, the appraisal expires, and honestly, it can expire the next day, sometimes even the same day, depending on something may happen in that area that makes that area less desirable. Like there's so many things that can kind of affect that appraisal and what that opinion will be. So it's a very big variable. So don't think that it's like this is just the end all be all. This just happens to be what it is while you are in the process of needing that, requiring it, whether it be for a loan or for a a charity thing you're doing. If you're imagine giving a property away, that's amazing. You're really doing well then if you're doing that. But there's so many different reasons you may need an appraisal, or a company may need it. So yeah, just it's for that particular day, right? And then the next, the appraisal is the act of process of developing an opinion of value. So yeah, like I said, it's that act of developing an opinion, which doesn't mean it's a fact. It doesn't mean, oh, your house is worth this. This is that appraiser's opinion based on a system and a flow that other licensed appraisers do when they're finding that out for you. So, all right, when you hire them, an appraisal opinion of value is based on provable facts. Yes, there will be some variance in opinion of value depending on the appraiser, but it's a limited variance, and one of the many reasons there are appraisal standards. See, you got to have those standards. So yeah, there's going to be variations, but there's a standard to how to get to that particular price. So you may think, oh, I got a bad appraisal from this one person. Let me do another appraisal, and it may be a little bit different, but will it be that much different? Most likely not, because they're using the same standard. So it's going to be in the same ballpark. As long as you're using a non-scrupulous or non-unscrupulous appraiser that's not basically somebody that's playing fair and actually following the standards. It's going to be in the same ballpark, so it's not worth bouncing here and there from different appraisers, unless you really feel like you got done wrong by this appraiser and there's some kind of illegal stuff or against the rules kind of thing happening right there. Then maybe you want to try another one then, if you're even able to. An appraisal includes a description of the property under the consideration, the appraiser's opinion of the property's condition, again, opinion, the property's utility for a given purpose, and the property's probable monetary value on the open market. So it gives you all of that. Now, I want to talk about the property's utility for a given purpose, because a lot of times when the appraiser is hired, that's when they even find out what the given purpose is going to be, and how it kind of gives them a guide, a little bit of a guide to pricing your property, because now they know, okay, this isn't just a house. This is a house that also doubles as a commercial property, or this. I mean, that's so rare. I don't know why I would say that. It's such a rare thing for that to be the case. There are sometimes houses in commercial areas, but it may be um, you may need it. You know, like I should say commercial property that like that if they know the what you're gonna be doing in that property, it can change the value of it. So you want to give your appraiser all the information that you can give them, without trying to sway them or trying to pressure them. We talked about that in a few videos ago. I don't know which order I'm putting these out, but we talked about that before, where you don't want to illegally persuade a appraiser to do something that's not right, that's not honest. They're supposed to be honest. That's what the standards are for. All right. Um, a personal property is everything that is not real property. So yeah, if you're, let's say you are in a property, you have this beautiful bed set that you brought with you, that's your personal property. Or you have this cute chair that you just love, like that's your personal property. You're not leaving that with the property unless you decide to sell the property with your furniture. Then that may be in the contract, but for the most part, that's your personal property that you'll pack up and put into your moving van whenever you do move. So that's personal property. Real estate includes land plus all things permanently attached to it, naturally or artificially. So that's an important thing. I mean, there's certain things like I like to use the example of a basketball hoop. There's certain ones with basketball hoops that you can just easily have wheels on it, and you just put it in your truck after you fold it up and take it with you. That's more personal property unless otherwise noted in your contract. Now, when it comes to something that's like attached to your house, attached to the outside, like with brackets and really like into the like it's attached to your house, like or into the cement in the backyard. Like some of them are poured cement and it's like really just stuck in there. That's a different thing. That's more of a fixture. We'll talk about that in a second. Um, so yeah, improvements are artificial attachments to land that includes things such as fencing, buildings, and walkways. Like you ain't taking your walkway with you when you leave. You're not taking your fencing. Like imagine leaving, selling your house. Like no, this is my fencing. I love this fencing. I'm taking my fencing with me. Like the F. No, that's something that's attached. That's an improvement. And yeah, so real property ownership includes the rights of enjoyment, disposition, possession, control, and exclusion, among other rights. So it's your property. You know, you can say who comes in and comes out. You have the right to occupy your property and make the rules on your property as long as they're legal rules. In the bigger picture, you can't just say it's my property. I can bang, bang, bang. You know, some states you can, depending on if there's a danger. But I'm saying like you just can't do illegal activity just because you own it. It's saying that you have the right to be there, you know, and to regulate what happens in your property. Um, Real property includes real estate plus the interests, benefits, and the rights included with that real estate ownership. There's a lot of benefits and rights depending on where the property is, and what state you're in and everything. Land is defined as the Earth's surface extending downwards to the center of the Earth and upwards to infinity and beyond, including permanently attached natural objects. So let's say there's a big old rock through your house, which I've seen that in natural and like some of the architectural shows that I like to watch. I've seen like houses that are built around a huge boulder or built big rock, and you know you can't be like I'm taking this rock with me when I'm leaving. Like no, that's part of the property now. Or maybe they have the beautiful trees that are on the property. You can't go dig that tree up and say I'm transporting this tree unless that's written in the contract. That's not something you do. Like that's a part of the property. It's natural. Um, but yeah, up to the space is the core of the earth, which I think is interesting that the law says that because I don't want to go into this deeply, but let's say that there are theories that there's tunnels, that there's all kind of things going on underground, that there's all kind of theories. I don't want to go too deep in it, like I said, but it's interesting that they're saying to the bottom of the earth. And honestly, a lot of the contracts that you find, um, they don't really it doesn't really go down to the bottom. It doesn't really go down to the core of the earth. Like it's like a surface. Like you get this area. Like you don't get the mineral rights to a lot of area. It depends. It depends on your contract. And of course, if you go into infinity, into space, I mean, you may hit an alien planet, and you don't own that planet just because it's above your property, technically, like in a straight line. So it's kind of figurative, and I believe. Um, next, appraisals. Appraisers are required to identify and value any personal property that is part of the transaction. This can be especially important in business sales transactions in which a commercial property is being sold along with the personal property, e.g., office furniture, storage shelves, copier printers, which I don't know if you would sell a copier printer, but I mean, maybe you do. That seems electronic. I wouldn't think that's part of it, but some people do inside of it. Yeah. So yeah, that's just saying that the appraiser needs to know that they're required to identify that and know when they're appraising. Generally speaking, if the item is permanently attached to the real property, it becomes real property. Otherwise, it's personal property. Important to note that. If it's attached, generally speaking, like I said, there's always exceptions if it's in the contract. You can really customize a purchase contract or a selling contract. But yeah, it needs to be in the contract. Otherwise, it's assumed that it's part of the transfer of property. Um, Window coverings. This is something that always surprises people. Like certain window coverings are not, you know, they're not your personal property. Like if I say, I have blinds right here to say, I want to keep my blinds. I want to keep my blinds right there. You know, taking it with me. Like that's not something you can really do. Like, these blinds are made for these windows. Like I'm supposed to take like this is let's in my contract. Like I need these blinds. These are my blinds. I want these blinds. Like that's usually a fixture or something. So let's keep going. Window coverings, light fixtures. Um, even if you have a nice light fixture, you better replace it before. If you want to take it with you, you better take that out early on before you get it appraised and before you start going through the process of selling. You want to get that taken just so you don't so taken out so you don't have any issues with that. Um, Fixtures and mounted TVs. That's funny. Mounted TVs is wild, and that are most often confused when differentiating between real and personal property. The installed bracket for the curtain rod is affixed, therefore it's a fixture. A rod could be convincingly be removed unless it's attached to the bracket, which most are. hmm the curtains, however, can be removed unless they're custom made for the space, e.g., panels are generally removable, but custom draperies are not. hmm And they're not when they're, some of them really are attached. So I'm like, how do you wash those, by the way? Do you have to like vacuum them or clean them like on? Oh, anyways, um, next, um, the 5 basic tests to determine if an item is a fixture, a part of real property or personal property, are known as Maria, which the method of annexation, adaptility. Sorry, I messed that up. So Maria is an acronym. So it's the method of annexation, adaptility, adaptility for use, relationship of the parties, intention in placing, and agreement of the parties. So that's all together. That's super important that you remember all those when you're thinking about what is a fixture and what's not. Um, the method of annexation, also known as attachment, simply refers to how and whether the item is attached to the property, all right, and how permanent that attachment is. Adaptation has to do with how an item is situated or adapted to the real property, even if the standalone fireplace were not cemented in, if it were part of an outdoor entertainment area, and fit into such a way that other fixed items would have to be dismantled to remove the fireplace, it could be argued that that item had been adapted to the environment and must not be removed. So you got to be careful with that kind of stuff. Like, you don't want to misrepresent your property. You want the appraisers especially to know what's real or what's not before you even continue. Like, a lot of these things you really want to get that handled. If you're really attached to those kind of things, you gotta make those adjustments ahead of time and be prepared to get those moved out before the whole process. Um, for the sellers I'm talking to about that. Um, the relationships of the parties, for instance, if there is a dispute between the person who added the item and the person with whom a dispute occurs, and another element used to determine whether an item is a real or personal property in general, the courts tend to favor a tenant's take on an item over the landlord's and the buyer over the seller's. That's an important thing to think about because it's like a buyer beware kind of thing. They're trying to protect the consumer. They don't want you marketing and advertising something that's not coming with the property. Like that's why you want to handle a lot of this stuff ahead of time so that it doesn't go to the market with the things that you covered. Like, I know some people want to keep these nice things up to sell the house and be like, oh, look how nice my house is. Then when you move in, you take all the things away. Like, no, like, you can't do those false advertisements, especially with things that are made for the home or light fixtures or things like that. Um, Often the attention of the party who put the item on the property is regarded as the most important consideration in determining whether the item should stay or go. However, a person's original intentions may change over time, or an item that was intended to be temporary may end up physically attached to the property, which can change the item from temporary to permanent. If that's something like a barber's chair, you can have a barber's chair and you realize, like, I want to attach it to the actual ground. I don't want it to be above. I want it to be drilled in. That could be something that you thought was going to be just on top, but now it's like attached to the property. Um, if the parties have agreed that an item will stay or go, then that agreement stands. To be safe, the agreement should be in writing. Absolutely. When it comes to real estate or any kind of deal like that of monetary value, like, you want to make sure that that's in writing. Like, you don't want to mess yourself up and not have things in writing. It's super important to do that. Um, a trade fixture. We're gonna have two more, y'all. Two more things, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. A trade fixture, also known as a chattel fixture, is any item that a tenant attaches to a rental building or a space that is used for business purposes. This includes anything from attached shelves, tables, appliances, and other equipment in a restaurant, to attach exercise equipment in a gym or health club. That's important too. That if you're starting a health club, like, they need to know what's staying. Um, or even gas station pumps. Even gas station pumps, which I think that's kind of, I don't know, because sometimes gas station pumps are like licensed based on what company that you are, the gas station, that who owns the gas station, what company it is. So that could be a little tricky, but the contract really puts it, and it clears it up for you. Yeah, so the last thing I want to say is the appraisers must state whether fixtures are included in the property appraisal. So that's important to remember. Like, they must state whether the fixtures are included or not. Like, it's to be clear and to make a proper purchase or proper buy. Like, these are things you all would want as a buyer. I know a lot of times as sellers, they just want to make their house look good, but they're not real about what they really want and what they're not willing to give up. So it's really important to get those things out of there. If you really care about something, that you're not willing to budge on, especially when it comes to something that could be considered a fixture, just take it out before you start the process, or like figure that out ahead of time before you bring your house onto the market if you have the opportunity to. Some of y'all are like, you know, just so busy running, into your process that you just maybe didn't get a chance to do that before all the pictures came out or all the open houses or whatever. So just think about that though. Think about that. Think about making sure that's very clear so you don't run into a situation where you're fighting over a lampshade and then the whole deal falls apart because they thought the lampshade was theirs and now it's not, and all this kind of randomness. So Rock on Mercury, and thank you so much for your support. Please, please, please visit Rock Mercury um, .com for my stuff for more me and my streaming schedule. I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say my real estate website, but I'm like I'm so used to saying rockmercury.com. But for real estate, for all your real estate needs, please visit slayrealestate.world. That's SLAY realestate.world. I'd love to connect you with one of my realty partners that are going to help you take you every step of the way through your processes. Whether you're buying, selling, renting, whatever it may be, investing, we'd love to support you in that. Rockers and Mercury. And we're nationwide and a lot international. We're international as well. So check with us to see if we can help in your country. But if I can't, then I'll still try to find somebody for you. All right, rock on, Mercury, and thank you so much for your support. Have a beautiful day. And again, you better slay real estate. Rock on, Mercury, and bye.